Hi guys, Harry here from the Art Gear Guide. Thanks very much for joining me today. As you can see, I have a review here of the Koh-I-Noor water-soluble colour pencils, Mondeluz, I think they're pronounced as. This is the 72 set. This is the biggest set that they have. But before I get into the review, I just want to say a few things just before we go any further with this review. So this is the end of 2017. This review is going into the December issue of Colour Pencil magazine, and it's my last review for 2017. Now, obviously, we'll be doing reviews in 2018, but this is my first full year of doing reviews for Colour Pencil magazine, and I just have to say, and I know Sally hates this type of thing because she doesn't like taking recognition for anything, and she doesn't really like people saying nice things about her. But I have got to know Sally and Ed over the last year, and I just have to say, I don't think I know anybody who works as hard as Sally does. I mean, she is the magazine that comes out to everybody, the Colour Pencil magazine. For the longest time, she has done it with a skeleton staff. Very, very few people helping her. The vast majority of it is done by her. And I'm just incredibly honoured, first of all, that she took me on in January of 2017 to start my reviews with Colour Pencil magazine, because I don't think if I hadn't got into Colour Pencil magazine, if I hadn't struck up that relationship with the magazine, I don't think that my website or YouTube channel will be doing as well as it is. And also, I have learned so much from Sally in the year that I've been doing this, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for allowing me this fantastic opportunity to be part of a magazine that I absolutely loved before I even got started in doing reviews in Colour Pencil magazine. It was a magazine that I bought every month regardless on my iPad, and just to be able to be now part of it is amazing. I just also have to say that for people that are already subscribers of Colour Pencil magazine, we have a fantastic lineup of reviews coming in 2018. For those of you that haven't yet subscribed or buy the magazine or anything like that, definitely go across, have a look at the awesome deals that they have going on over at Colour Pencil magazine. I'll leave a link down below in the description, as I always do. You can go across, check out the various different deals that they have going, see which one suits you best, and definitely sign up. Anyway, so let's get into this review. As I said, this is the Koh-I-Noor water-soluble pencils. I've done a few reviews over the year of Koh-I-Noor products. I've done their polycolour range. I've done their woodless colour pencils. Fantastic company. Koh-I-Noor has a wide range of awesome art products for you to get your hands on. I'll put a link to their website in the description. And also, if you go across to the Art Gear Guide, there's a full written review of this set over there. You'll be able to read all about the various different things about the pencil, and also there'll be links down below to the other reviews that I've done of the Koh-I-Noor products that I've done in 2017. So as you open the tin, you can see right off the bat you've got this first layer. Now, like I said, this is the 72 set, so this is the biggest set they do. You can see here it has these sleeves here to lift up, which is very, very handy. You can lift up, move the pencils out of the way. This little thing here, it's just plastic. It's quite flimsy, so you do need to be careful when you're lifting it up. But when it's in the tin, there's it's just to hold the pencils in place. And then you have this second tier. As you can see here, you've got all your greens and browns and greys there at the bottom, and on the top row here, you've got your yellows, your reds, purples and blues. Now, if we take a look at the pencil itself, okay, so One of the features that's very prominent with the Koh-I-Noor brand is this gold tip on the very end here. You see it in the polycolor range as well, but the gold tip in the polycolor range is much smaller than what it is on the watercolor range. So if you have a set of polycolor, a set of these watercolor, and you have them all mixed up, you will be able to identify it fairly easy. In fact, just let me show you what I mean. You can see there, it's significantly smaller, and if you had those pencils laid side by side, you tell the difference between them. So I think it's really clever the way they've done that. And also the watercolor range have this black band separating the barrel and the tip, whereas the polycolor have this much smaller white band separating the color from the tip. So just let me move the polycolor over. Going down the side of the barrel, you have going from the core all the way back to the tip, you have Koh-I-Noor Hardmouth, which is obviously the name of the company. Then you have the name of the brand of pencil this is, so it's Mondeluz. Then you have a little icon here, a little paintbrush icon, which is kind of, all watercolor based pencils and stuff like that. They have this little icon on them. It's just another indication that it is a water soluble pencil. Then you have this number here, 3720, which again is representative of the fact that it's whatever this pencil is. Like this second number here beside it represents the color, but the 3720 represents the fact that it's a watercolor pencil. So if you were ordering these pencils up in stock, which they do sell, I'll get into those things in a second, and you wanted to order just by the numbers, wherever you're ordering it from would know exactly what pencil that you're getting, or what pencil you're ordering, sorry. That's really about it. There's no color name on the pencil, as I've mentioned with the polycolor range, and there's no light fast information on the pencil. However, Koh-I-Noor have a very, very comprehensive PDF file on their website that you can download. It gives you the names of all the colors that correspond with the number of the pen on the pencil, and it gives you the light fast reading ratings for all the individual pencils that they have as well. Now I have a copy of that over on the written review of this, so if you want to go ahead and go across and see that, that's absolutely fine. You can do that. On the other side of the pencil then, there's just like this barcode reading and a number alongside of it, which is obviously to do with ordering, but it's not really significant to the user. So the actual barrel is a 7mm barrel, and the core is a nice 3.8mm core. You tend to find that with watercolor pencils and pastel pencils, they tend to be thicker than your run-of-the-mill average pencil, not by much, but a little bit. And I don't really know how to explain this. I say it in a lot of my videos, but when you're holding the pencil has a nice feel to it. It's got a nice balanced weight on it. It's not, there's no such thing as a really heavy pencil. It's going to be too heavy for you, but it's hard to explain. Some pencils just feel right in your hand and others not so much. The Koh-I-Noor brand, both this watercolor pencil and the polycolor, they just feel really nice in the hand. They feel like they're quality made. I don't know whether that's just me or whether that's something other people experience when they're holding the pencil. Anyway, so let's get on with a little bit of testing. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I've got some Vacuum Ford 300 GSM watercolor paper here. I've got lifted out a few pencils, just a variation of the different colors that are in the range. I'm just going to lay the pigment down on the paper and show you how it reacts and stuff like that there when water is activated with it. Before I do that, I'm just going to let you know, with regards to the sets that are available, you can get these pencils, the Koh-I-Noor watercolor pencils, in sets of 12, 24, 36, 48, and 72. But you can also get them open stock as well, so you can buy the pencils individually, which is fantastic. I do believe that they also do like a box set as well of the 72. But me personally, I think, especially when you're talking about watercolor pencils, 72 is a fantastic, number of pencils that you're going to get, because with watercolor it's much easier to mix and create your own colors and stuff like that, your own varied hues and all the rest of it of pigment with watercolor than it is ordinary pencil. And so you know, with 72 individual colors, and then you start mixing those, you're not really going to want for any color. So just let me lay down these pencils. Obviously, you can use these pencils dry. You don't have to use them as watercolor pencils necessarily. Just, you know, sorry guys. You don't have to use them as just watercolor pencils. They can be used dried, and as you can see here, the pigment is beautiful. They are really, really rich in pigment, very soft, as most watercolor pencils are, but you can see there with that yellow. Now I will zoom in a little bit and you'll be able to see how the colors, and I'm not really putting much pressure down here on this paper. The paper's just gripping hold of that pigment and working very well with it. Now, ordinarily, I just want to say this, because ordinarily I would have used these pencils as a giveaway. I did say that for December I'll have a really good giveaway for you, which, if I haven't already announced it by now, because I'm obviously making this video, although this review is for December, for the Colour Pencil magazine in December, I make these videos and write the reviews much earlier than that, so that it can all be edited and what have you for the magazine. But ordinarily I would have give these away to somebody, because I you know, I have my own pencils and stuff like that, and I was very kind that Koh-I-Noor give me these. But the only reason I'm not is because my wife knows a young female artist who lives quite close here, knows her mother actually, and she's a fantastic artist, really, really good. I think she's 16 or 17 or something like that, and she comes from a single parent family, and she has a brother and two other sisters in the family as well. And so I thought it would be really nice to give these to her. So once I've done all this review and all the rest, I'll be giving these pencils to her. You know, when these pencils are given to me by companies, I feel the need to pass them on to other, you know, if I'm not going to use them, I feel the need to pass them on to other people, obviously completely free. I get them for free. I'm not going to try and make any money off that. That would just be morally wrong. So I'm passing them on to this young lady, and like I say, she's a fantastic artist, really, really awesome artist, and I'm really happy that they're going to someone like her. But like I say, I do have a fantastic giveaway for December. If I haven't already mentioned it, it'll be mentioned very, very soon. So let me just zoom in slightly. Okay, now when I talk about the mark of a good watercolor pencil, you can see there that you can see the paper. I'll just zoom in a little bit more, and then I'll zoom back out again, because you won't be able to see it otherwise. You can see the paper there through the pigment, and sometimes, and you can still see the pencil strokes where I've been going from left to right. And sometimes with the cheaper brands, or the you know, the not so good brands of watercolor pencils, when you activate it with water, you can still see the lines through once it's been activated. Whereas with the better artist grade type color pencils, you don't get to see that as much. So I've just got a relatively big brush here, and just, but you can see there that all of the pigment dissolves, and it is the color stays rich and vibrant, and that's how I normally judge how good a watercolor pencil is. And as you can see there, there's no lines underneath it. Oh. And it is activated very, very well indeed. Again, you can see there with this beautiful purple colour. I've not got too much water on the brush because I don't want it all spilling out all over the place. But you can see there that the pigment stays rich and vibrant. Now onto this beautiful yellow. Like I say, Koh-I-Noor don't add the light fast information on the pencil or the colour name on the pencil. However, what I find really odd is on the woodless colour pencils, which I always thought were kind of like a kid's art product, but they're definitely not. Those pencils, surprisingly, have, you know, light fast information on it and the colour name on it. Why they don't put that information on their artist grade pencils like the Polycolor and the Mondeluz, I'm really not 100% sure. But like I said, it is very easy to obtain that information. Koh-I-Noor have made it very, very easy by just going across to their website, and you can gather all that information with literally just a couple of clicks of your mouse or your keypad or whatever. But you can see there, maybe with the brown there, it hasn't stayed as rich. Same with the green, but they are the lighter of the colours. It's certainly not stayed as rich as the red and the purple and the yellow. But obviously, you know, not all. So we'll move on to this blue. And then there's this flesh color. Well, it looks like a flesh color to me. I'm not 100% sure whether you would call it flesh or not. But when you activate it with water, I suppose it would definitely be a really nice color to use if you're doing a watercolor portrait. Certainly to mix in with something. Now, another way that people tend to use their watercolor pencils is by getting a brush and just rubbing along the actual core of the pencil, lifting the pigment straight off the pencil, and giving them a much more accurate ability to lay the pigment down. As you can see there, that, you know, it lifts off really well. Obviously, when you do this, you need to make sure that you don't sharpen the pencil right after you've done it when the core is wet, because if you do that, you'll mess the pencil up. It'll just crumble and disintegrate in your sharpener, and it'll mess your sharpener up and everything. It'll just become one big mess. So it's always best, if you're going to do that type of technique, that you make sure that the core is really dry before you use it again. Another technique is to leave water on the wet the paper and just add the pencil onto the wet paper, and it can create some interesting techniques. So if you just wetting the paper there with just clear water, and then lift one of your pencils, and again, this is obviously going to, you can see there that it just, the wet paper, and it gives it just another interesting technique that you can use in your art. But again, that's going to wet the actual core, and you need to make sure that it's completely dry before you go ahead and sharpen it. Okay, so as we're talking about sharpening and the when and when not to sharpen watercolor pencils, these pencils sharpen really well. I've never had any issues with any of the Koh-I-Noor brands whenever they've been sharpened, you know, breaking or anything like that. So I'll just do a very, very quick demonstration here, show you how well they fare in a sharpener. So I've just got this hand crank sharpener. This is one I use all the time. This one and the Derwent Super Point. And you can see there, sharpens really, really well. And then I have another this little M&R hand held sharpener. Again, this is a great little sharpener. I use it all the time. Change the blades on a regular basis, and if you change the blades on a regular basis, you get the M&R blades. This little sharpener will stand you in very, very good stead. And as you can see there, you can create a really nice point with them. Now, ordinarily I show pencils on black paper, but I'm not going to do that because they're at the end of the day they're watercolor pencils. I don't have black watercolor paper, so I can't really show you them. But what I will do is I'll lay the pencil down dry and I'll show it over on the Art Gear Guide. There'll be an image up of it. Now there's an image coming up on your screen now, and this is kind of a very, very quick, simple sketch thing that I done with these watercolor pencils. It's just a tree. And I used the browns and the greens and the blacks and stuff like that there, and you could see there the different techniques that I used whenever I was doing this little painting. So one last thing before I wrap this review up. Another thing that when I done the polycolor range, again, they came up in a 72 set, but they also have these additional lines. They have a set of 12 brown, a set of 12 grey, a set of 24 landscape and 24 portrait. Obviously, the pencils that are inside those are just specifically aimed at a certain type of art that you may be doing. Well, the Mondeluz have exactly the same type of sets as well. So you can get your portrait set. You can get a set of 12 brown pencils. Now, as I said in the polycolor range, some of the browns, if you have the 72 set, okay, and you go and get the 12 browns, some of the browns that are in that 12 set you will already have in here. But you know, there will be, I think that I worked it out, about 3 or 4 that you won't have, that are kind of like exclusive to that 12 set. Anyway, that's just a little bit of additional information, because, and I think it's a really good thing that the way Koh-I-Noor do that. If you're a portrait artist, you may not want to get this full 72 set, and so therefore they have this nice 24 set that you can just go out and get, and it has all the colours that you're going to need in it, perhaps. Same with the landscape. You know, if you're a landscape artist, again, if you don't want to go out and get the full 72, you will have the ability to go out and get those 24 pencils and hopefully have all the colours that you're going to need for landscape art. So that's my review on the Koh-I-Noor Mondeluz, and I just want to say, I love the Koh-I-Noor brand. When people say to me that they, I get a lot of emails, people asking me to recommend a really good pencil, but not one that's going to be up in and around the luminance price range, or that type of really high end price range pencils. These pencils, the Koh-I-Noor brand, are always one of the first pencils that I recommend to people who want to still be able to perform good quality art, but have a budget, or on a bit more of a budget, or just are starting out and don't fancy spending £200 on 76 pencils. This brand is one of the first brands I always mention, because Koh-I-Noor really do make good quality art supplies, and at a really, really reasonable price. Now the prices, if you go across to the Art Gear Guide, I have all the prices listed on my website for UK price, US price, European price as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget, go across to the Art Gear Guide. There'll be a full written review of these pencils over there. You can also follow me on Facebook, or Twitter, and Instagram. Links for that will be down in the description, but they'll also be over in the Art Gear Guide. I also got, like, you know, Pinterest page and stuff like that. Go across, you can have a look at some of the things that I like over there. And that's really about it, guys. Thanks. Bye.